Our story begins in a charming countryside cottage, where a lady named Mrs. Henderson awakens to the soft chirping of birds. And she steps outside to enjoy the fresh morning air. Mrs. Henderson, in her gardening hat and apron, lovingly tends to her colorful garden. The flowers bloom in various shades and butterflies flutter around. Mrs. Henderson visits her small farm, where she tends to a couple of friendly goats and a group of clucking chickens. She smiles as the animals gather around her for their morning feed. Mrs. Henderson takes a leisurely walk through the rolling hills and meadows surrounding her home. She enjoys the serene beauty of the countryside and greets her friendly neighbors along the way. Mrs. Henderson returns home and prepares a delightful afternoon tea with freshly baked scones and homemade jam. She sets the table with delicate china and enjoys her meal by the open window. As the sun sets, Mrs. Henderson relaxes by the crackling fireplace with a good book. The warm, inviting light fills the room as she loses herself in her book. Mrs. Henderson steps outside again, this time to stargaze on a clear night. She gazes up at the starry sky, feeling a deep connection to the universe. So beautiful. Mrs. Henderson heads to her comfortable bed, surrounded by the quiet of the countryside. She drifts off to sleep, dreaming of the beauty of her life in the countryside.